most important thing this president has brought to the table is a change in Washington. You actually have for the first time in nearly a decade.
I'm very honored and grateful that he was, signed the First Step Act. I have nothing but respect and thankfulness for that.
Whether you lean left, right, or you're in the middle, you have to be a fan of what he's done for the Border Patrol. He's done more in the first 100 days than the last two administrations have done in 16 years.
It is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Judge
What is this music?
Neil Gorsuch, Amy Coney.
I know, but
We must
it's very weird.
in space. The USMCA is estimated to add another 1.2% to our GDP and create countless new American jobs. Our stock market is at an all-time high. Unemployment is at a 17-year low. Do you miss me yet?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. Please welcome the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump! Be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died.
Kevin, you're muted on YouTube. I don't make the rules. I don't know.
I hear all of you in my ear. I can hear you and Kevin in my ear.
See if I can do this. Now, am I there? It sounds like I'm there. Okay, I am muted. Now, you people in the chat room, not in the chat room, but on the Google Meet room, can you hear me? Oh, really?
Yes.
On YouTube, and I can hear you all.
Okay, thank you. So now I'm broadcasting. I believe I'm broadcasting on YouTube. Somebody in the chat room, Liberty, Ramafrog, Catherine, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, it looks like Ramafrog can hear me. So it looks like you folks can hear me now. I'm going to turn on the audio from the speech momentarily. Somebody let me know if they can hear it.
Yes.
Okay, we got the Bless
I
USA.
can hear the music.
Okay,
The
so
silly song.
looks like we're live. This is the first time we're trying this. We've got a Google Meet room. If you want to be part of the Google Meet room, the address is right there. We've got commentary coming in there. Behave yourself or we will cancel you. And this is the President of the United States, speaking of being canceled, who is no longer the President of the United States.
Yeah, don't call him the president.
Also, he used to be the president, and he's now given up his position to President Joe Biden. So this was a single-term president who never received the will of the American people. At random just left the meeting randomly. That's so at random. Oh, she wants back in now. Okay, here we go. Now she's back in. And here comes the president, who is no longer the president. Needlessly adjust the mic because of his control issues. Did you see that? Up and back. Like, what kind of a mic adjustment is that? It's basically taking out your dick and swinging it is what he's doing. If he had one, that's what watch what he does here with the microphone. Look at this. Why? Why?
Control freak.
So that echo is coming from the feed, not from what we're putting out there. So the weird echo that you're getting right, and he's going to do it again. Here we go.
Thank you, and thank you to Charlie for that introduction, which was so beautiful, and
Beautiful.
for your fearless leadership of Turning Point Action and Turning Point USA. Thank you, Charlie, very much. 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 Thank you,
Let me also express my incredible appreciation to the thousands of bold, young, and proud American patriots that are
Bald Patriots? Stephen Miller's there?
with us today. What a crowd, what a crowd.
He's low energy already. What a crowd, what a crowd.
And you think this is a lot of people, you ought to look outside. It's about 110 degrees or something.
Well, then that's really, really poor planning on your part, isn't it, sir?
And don't give them water in line.
That's an incredible group. Well, thank you. Thank you to the people
Chef.
outside. We love you. You are the pulse of our movement. So true. And you are the ones who will
No, they're the blood of the movement.
make America great again. You know, I started saying, make America great again. Think of that.
Okay.
Think about that. Because nobody's done what we did in 4 years, the greatest economy. We will be talking about it. We have plenty of time. Does everybody have some time? Yeah. I said, I look forward to the speech. They said, oh, good. I said, how long a flight is it? About 5.5 hours, sir. I said, oh, well, man, can we maybe do it by Zoom? But Zoom will never replace the real thing. Do we agree?
I agree with that.
Especially for our great young students. It cannot replace being in the classroom, can it? With your help, we will stand up for democracy and for justice. We will fight for truth, transparency, and accountability. And
We'll fight for truth? Did he say truth?
we will fight for truth, transparency, and accountability. And we will not stop until we have restored our American birthright of honest, free, and
We will not stop until we've restored the truth.
fair elections. We're gathered here in Phoenix to show our support for election integrity and for the brave and unyielding conservative warriors in the Arizona State Senate. Thank you. Thank you. You've created a movement all over the country. This is now starting all over
The Arizona Republicans have taken a movement all over the country.
the country. I'm hearing Texas wants to do a forensic audit. I just heard that. Even though I won Texas by a lot, I said you should do it because you'll find out what's going on in this country. It's crazy. You know, when you hear defund the police, when you hear no IDs, of course now they're trying to get into the we never really said that. You know, it's crazy. But when you hear open borders,
Well, they never said defund the police, at least not Biden. He was totally opposed to it.
how about open borders? All this.
Only you have been saying open borders. There's no Democrats that have been saying the borders are open, come on in. In fact, they've been saying the exact opposite. They've been saying don't come. Do not take the dangerous journey.
Stuff. In my opinion, there's no way they win elections without cheating. There's no way. There's no way.
And yet,
No Second Amendment. They're against energy. We were energy independent. 2 months ago, energy
we weren't.
independent. Now we're not energy independent. I saw where they're negotiating now with OPEC again. Here we go again. They're negotiating. They are negotiating right now with OPEC and with Russia. We had so much oil, we didn't know what the hell to do with it. It's not even believable. They closed up so many sites. Today I want
He's admitting that he had a bunch of oil and he didn't know what to do with it? There's a whole lot of uses for oil, sir.
to send our profound and everlasting gratitude to every Arizona Republican who had the fortitude and the backbone to defy the lying media. Look at that. Ooh, it's a lot of media. A lot of media. A lot of media. See, the red lights are starting to go off now.
Why? Why would they go off at this point? It used to be that you would attack the media and then you would say the red lights would go off. By the way, they don't even have red lights on the cameras anymore for the most part. That became now just like, oh, look, there's the media. Oh, the red lights are going off. Oh, there they are. There.
They're going, cut, cut. He's at it again. He's talking about the media. Now it's easy. Hey, look, some of them are down almost 80%. Can you?
Deidre's here.
And that's because they lose credibility. But I want to, just to finish, we want to demand a full
Hold
forensic
on.
audit.
He's finishing? Wow, this is going to be awesome. All right, we can get some stuff done today.
Of the results of Maricopa County. I particularly want to thank Arizona Senate.
Guys, so if you're joining us, hi Deidre, hi Yoshi. If you're joining us in the Google Meet chat, I can see both of you up there. You can speak when we pause it, etc. Otherwise, it's difficult to hear. But if you want to watch the YouTube stream and chat and stuff like that, then go back to YouTube. Either way, you're welcome to be here. And when we pause and you guys have a comment to make or whatever, I don't know, there must be like a raise hand function or something. And then I'll pause and I'll say, what do you want to say? Marcy Grover has raised her hand. Marcy, did you want to say something?
I was merely illustrating the button which to push.
That was not a mere illustration. That was a spot-on illustration, Marcy. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
President Karen Fan. She's been brave.
Stephanie, did you want to illustrate the button?
No, I was just saying they weren't here when I made that discovery earlier.
Okay, so Marcy, Stephanie is just throwing shade all over you right now. Here we go, Trump.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
She's been strong. And I predict when
Yoshi has something to say. It's raining where Yoshi is, or she's in the shower. Yoshi.
Oh, that's. I'm sorry. That's my background. I forgot to remute. It's raining here. Aloha.
Yoshi, if you have something to say, now is the time. Moving on.
the
Y'all need to
votes come
think
in, and
straight here.
that's her in the Senate, I think they're going to be so horrible that she's going to go 3 steps further than she ever thought she'd have to, because they will be, in my opinion, and again, I'm not involved, they're involved.
He's already being very weak with his speech because he keeps saying, in my opinion. That's twice now that he said, in my opinion. When you're speaking, there's no reason to say, in my opinion. At least that's my opinion on it.
This is the Arizona State Senate. I think the results will be so outrageous. You've already seen some of them come, that they're going to go many steps further than would have. Judiciary.
Many steps further than would have. There's words missing from his speech today. He's not having a good stroke day. So what the fraud wants to do, we were talking about this earlier, is they, during that meeting with the Arizona State Senate, well, a couple of senators, they sort of asked for permission to go door to door in Maricopa County, canvass the entire county, and ask them for whom they voted. And then that way, if that doesn't match up exactly with the actual results off the ballots, then it's fraud. Marcy, what's up?
The freeze frame really his lip tint, which is sort of a mauve pumpkin spice.
Thank you for pointing that out. I was waiting for someone to do that. You've really made my day. Yoshi, what do you got to say?
Oh, wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you can hear me! Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, this is going great.
You know what Yoshi sounds like?
Oh my gosh, you know
Hey,
what?
Yoshi,
I'm
I always assumed
you
you were
are
a guy.
Jojo, quiet. Yoshi
Oh,
has
sorry.
the floor. Go,
No,
Yoshi.
I'm excited. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Yoshi.
I'm excited to hear Yoshi because I always thought she was a guy. So
All right, there's people watching
I'm
right
excited.
now.
I'm super excited. Okay.
Hi. I just have to one time. Marcy. Okay. Somebody. Okay. Right. Okay.
Okay, we good? We good?
That was great.
Here we go. Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen.
Committee Chairman Warren Peterson. Where's Warren? Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Warren. He's here someplace. Thank you, Warren. And state, we did win. We really did. Not me. We all won.
Yeah,
Everybody.
everybody won.
You know, when you looked at election night, we were up by so much it was over at 10 o'clock, and then all of a sudden,
You have to finish counting the ballots. So all of a sudden they counted the ballots.
They closed the tabulation areas. They closed everything. And we wake up and all of a sudden it's tied or we're losing. And nobody believes it. They don't believe it. I tell you right now, they don't believe it. State Senators J.D. Misnard, Kelly Townsend. Kelly, you've been so incredible. Kelly, J.D., thank you. Where's Kelly? Kelly, thank you.
Kelly.
Tremendous courage
Kelly.
you have. I appreciate it. The whole country appreciates it really a lot.
All right.
Nancy
We're just going to jump by the intros. He always does this. That's pretty, though. He's got such a pretty face, naturally.
Bartow. Thank you. They had to do it. They saw what was going on, and they did
They just turned their volume way down. I did not do that.
it. So I'm meeting some of you for the first time. Senator Kerr, where is Senator Kerr?
Again, we're going to skip past all the pleasantries.
The strong, smart guy. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Strong, smart. He's just reading these people off the teleprompter.
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay, Wendy, great. Move on. Get past the intros. They're always boring.
Love her, and some people don't like her as much. I happen to love her. But she's really a fighter, and she fights your governor who doesn't do it.
Oh, shut up. Now he's going after the governor, who's a Republican.
I don't want anything, but I don't want to have that kind of a thing happen. So it's one of those things. But what you're doing here is incredible. As everyone here fully understands, the 2020 election was a total disgrace. It was the most corrupt.
Stephanie, what's up?
Does that mean Lindsay and McConnell didn't win?
Yes, everyone who won the election didn't really win. What it comes right down to is we all won. All of us together, we all won. Go ahead, anytime, Donald. Is there a protester? What happened there? Bye, Deidre.
And I tell this to people, I tell it to Republicans, and a lot of them are very good people, and they say, well...
I should welcome everybody. So we're watching Trump screed. I'm your KevinlyFather, Kevin Williams. We have what you're watching right now. Above us are some people in the Google Meet. If you'd like to join the Google Meet, there's the link for it right there. If you want to watch this on another platform, the best one to watch it on is YouTube. Go to youtube.com/KevinlyFather. youtube.com/KevinlyFather. That's the best place to watch the actual broadcast. You can use the chat function there in order to be in the chat window with your fingers. If you want to say something, the best place to do that is in the Google Meet meeting, and I'll let you in if I can. And then when you want to say something, just raise your hand in the Google Meet thing. We're figuring this out. We'll make it work. The people in the Google Meet room have figured it out. So let's go.
Sir, we have to get on to...
Okay, Marcy, do you want to demonstrate something? Okay, Marcy raised her hand and then didn't say anything. That's a good illustration from Marcy of what not to do. Thank you, Marcy. We appreciate you.
I see dead people. No
the
mask.
future. Let me tell you, you're not going to have a future. First...
Okay. Yeah, no one there is wearing a mask is what Marcy is pointing out. And that is true.
First of all...
More hats than masks.
Our nation is being destroyed, but you're not going to have a future in 22 or 24 if you don't find out how they cheated with hundreds of thousands and even millions of votes.
We're not going to have a future. Seems sort of stark.
Because you won't win anything. You won't win anything. And you know, I tell Republicans, I say, you don't realize, because some of them, they're good meaning, really, a lot of them, most of them, we have certain people that are not good. I mean, they don't have the Mitt Romneys, the little Ben Sasses of the world. They don't have, I could name a few of them, little Ben Sass. Could I have your endorsement? Yes. The day after he won, he goes and starts going after Trump. But you know what? That's the way it is. But you know, I tell people this is the biggest issue there is. This is bigger than the border. This is bigger than anything. This is the biggest issue.
And it's make-believe.
I see it just here, and I'd say I'd make a speech, and I'll talk about the border because we straighten out the border. We have the strongest border in history. We straighten out the border, and that's a big deal. But when you look at all of the death and destruction that this election has caused, and when
What?
you see what's happening with inflation, wait.
What death and destruction has this election caused?
You see the real numbers on inflation and what's going on. And wait till you go to the pump today and you see $3.75. We were at $1.
Wait, where can we get it for $3.75? Someone tell me where that is.
$1.87 for a gallon of gasoline.
$1.87. The last time that happened, it got down to $1.90 something. Was during the pandemic when nobody was buying fuel and oil was literally $0 a barrel. Zero. They were paying you to take oil. That was during the pandemic. By the way, the pandemic isn't over.
It was the most corrupt, dishonest, and unfair election in the history of our country.
So unfair. Oh, the poor former president. Does he have a GoFund or something that we can...
Democrats know it. The corrupt media, right back there, a lot of people, they know it.
Oh, look at their lights going off. Oh, did we do that bit already?
Big tech knows it, and most importantly, we, the American people, know it. We know it. But because of the steadfast conservatives all across our nation, and that's really happening now, if you look at what's going on all across, they've come...
What's real? The steadfast conservatives are really happening?
They've come from so many different states to look at your audit procedures. They go back, and I'll call them. I'll say, how did you like it? What did you think? They said, we don't believe it. And then
Meridine points out fuel is $1.49 a liter here. Where's that? Euros? What is that? So 4 liters in a gallon. Add that up. So that's what? $6 a gallon.
they're starting their own audit.
So stop your whinging. I'm guessing that Meridine is in the UK, and that's pounds, but we'll find out. Meridine, where are you?
Now that's what's happening. They're coming and looking. They're looking at.
They're looking. You last people take a looking at what's happening, Ninging.
What Karen and Kelly?
Australia. Okay, so Australian dollars.
They're looking what they all set up here, and they can't.
They're looking at what they all set up here.
They can Wendy.
Yeah, he's missing a lot of words today. He's had another stroke.
What you've done, Borelli. I love you, Borelli. You Italian.
You take a look at what they've done, Borelli. I love you, Borelli. You're Italian. Italian. He's such a grandfather. He's like our grandfather's grandfather. Stephanie, Marcy, what do you have to say?
I love you, DiGiorno.
I say thank goodness that the veterans don't have to put up with him going to Walter Reed anymore.
Oh, God. Just walking through. O'Reilly, Irish. I love you, Irish. Always fighting. Oh, Allie. Oh, you must be Jewish, Goldman. I love you, Jews. Always selling diamonds. Hey, hey, give me some pasta. Jojo, Jewish. I love you, Jewish. What do you got?
Marcy made me laugh out loud.
Is that it? You raised your hand. You paused your laughter and raised your hand so that you could laugh on microphone.
I wanted Marcy to know she made me laugh.
Okay, Marcy, you made Jojo laugh. Your work here is done. Moving on.
I hope you're all Italian, Borelli. That's why I get along. Okay, that's why I like him. Good.
I get along with Italians. You know, I'm German originally. The last time the Italians and the Germans got together, let me tell you.
It's the mobster attitude.
But you know what? They're coming and they're looking and they go back to their state and they say, this is the most incredible thing that we've seen anytime. Why wouldn't somebody want election integrity? Why wouldn't they want to know? And I would be very happy. It won't happen, but I would be very happy if they...
He just pointed to them when he said I. You're this direction, Mr. President. I would be very happy. I would be very happy. I would be right there. I'm over there. I love you, Trump. That's fake Swedish, right?
He did it, and everything was perfect. But you're not going to find that. In fact, the preliminary numbers are a total disaster. And we're going to go over those numbers. The facts are coming out. The truth is being uncovered, and the crime of the century is being fully exposed. Thank you.
I'm jumping forward a little bit here when there's applause, etc., because RSBN has been taking down their feed right after they broadcast, so they don't get like dinged by YouTube and suspended again. So I don't want to end before the end. Actually, I'd be happy to end it. I feel like we've seen enough.
A friend of mine said to me, very smart guy, said,
Fun fact: he doesn't have any friends.
"It can't be the crime of the century. Nobody died." I said, "No, people are dying every day at the border. They're going to be dying with what inflation is doing to our country. The crime has never been higher than it is now. You have in Chicago, hundreds of people have been
People are dying because they can't get lumber?
being shot every weekend. In Afghanistan, you know, we haven't lost one soldier in Afghanistan for the last year."
I'm not doing that to the volume. That's just the feed coming in that suddenly he got very quiet. Wouldn't it be great if somebody at RSBN had just like turned it all the way down? No one notices for the rest of the whole speech. Stephanie B, you've got something to say. We'll get to Yoshi in a second. Stephanie B, what's up? Stephanie B has nothing to say. Yoshi, what's up?
I had it in my brain and then I lost it. Sorry.
Okay, Stephanie lost it. Yoshi, have you lost it?
Oh, now I'm here. I don't know. You know when he always puts his like hands like close together. I'm just wondering who the heck is he squeezing to be so tiny? Like
Now,
he's
now,
something really small to his size.
be nice or don't. It's fine
Every
either
time
way.
he does it, I just say squish. In my
Yeah,
head.
squish, squish.
In Chicago, they have 188 people shot over a weekend,
I can't hear Marcy.
many of whom died.
So they just made his volume really quiet. We're just going to have to wait it out and hope that they adjust it because, yeah, that's not me. That's on their end.
That's worse than any wars.
So 188 people in Chicago, I haven't heard of that. I have heard of 57 last weekend, but, you know, why bother with facts? Why start now, Trump?
Zone anywhere.
Marcy Grover, what's up?
Oh, his mom made him take accordion lessons as a child, so he's.
Is
just
that what it
having a
is?
second- Yes.
So blame Mary Trump for that.
Yep.
In the world, Chicago and New York. What's happening in New York? The crime in New York. And Rudy Giuliani was the greatest mayor in the history of New York City, by the way. And they're
Again, the
going
volume's
after
really
him
low, but
because
that's on
he
their end.
understands it, and they're going after him, and he's a true patriot. What they're doing to Rudy is a disgrace. Greatest mayor and the greatest prosecutor. I mean, he was a crime fighter. He was a crime fighter, but this was the greatest mayor. And you know, if I would have said that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have meant as much. Now you realize what having a great mayor is all about. Because when you look at what the hell is happening to our cities run by Democrats, all run by Democrats, there's never been any, it's a crime wave, the likes of which we've never seen before.
Crime is way, way down in the cities compared to the 20s. The last time we had 20s, when Al Capone ran the city. This is really low on my end. If I'm hoping you guys can hear that. Actually, at this point, there's nothing I can do to fix it for you.
It's scary. People are afraid to walk down the streets of New York, and nobody gets prosecuted, except Republicans, by the way.
Like, I've always been scared to walk down the streets of New York. It's New York.
In every fake news story about the election, they always begin by stating that claims are unproven. This is the fake news. Those claims are unproven. You ever notice you read a story, and you're reading about massive fraud, but they don't write about that too much. You know, the biggest thing is they don't write, but they always say, wild.
What? They don't write the stories?
This is totally unproven. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, we caught thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. And then they go, what?
They haven't caught anybody. Nobody has been caught.
Well, there is no evidence. You know, they have these little sound bites. But the craziest of them all is, and always done in unison, because, you know, they work together. This is, if this were business, they'd be put in jail because it would be called a monopoly. But the biggest and the
if you're in business and you have a monopoly, you do not go to jail. That's not how it works. Congratulations, you've cornered the market. We have a sell for you, sir.
craziest of The big lie, they call it. You know what's the big lie?
What?
The opposite is the big lie.
Oh.
The election was the big lie.
Oh, so we shouldn't have elections.
And I've got to tell you, I've got to say this. I've never said it before, but I've always thought it.
This is something he said many times before.
If I lost the election, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Seriously, if we lost the election, we'll lose an election. I'll go home. I'll start
You'll never see me again.
building buildings. I'll do something. I'll keep myself busy. But you know what? If we lost the election, we know when we lose. You know, in Georgia, they had an election. We did so well.
What's the thing that you said you never said before that you've said? Get to that, please.
And everyone knew we won by hundreds of thousands.
Election stolen. Meridian makes a good point. Election stolen is all about raising funds. So far, he's raised $75 million to his PAC in order to protect against election fraud. Okay, this is the Election Integrity Fund. They have spent none of that $75 million on election integrity. None of it. It's all gone to his personal thing, paying off people, etc. This is just Trump's money fund. That's what he's doing. He's just raising money for himself. They are not paying for legal defense funds.
And they stole it from us. And what happened is we had two senators running a couple of months later. And you know what happened to them?
Yeah, you went and you campaigned for them the night before, and they both lost in the most absurd election. Absurd. It was the most absurd election in history. And observed both of them. They lost because of you, sir, but you're probably going to blame Mitch McConnell.
The Republicans said, we're not going out to vote because this was rigged. This election was rigged. And they know it. You know when you lose. If I lost this election, I could handle it pretty easily. When they steal it from you and rig it, that's not easy, and we have to fight. We have no choice. Have to fight.
Yeah, so the volume is pretty low on his end. Oh well, I hope you guys can hear him. Or not. I mean, honestly, it's better for you and everybody else if you can't hear him. Some people are saying that a lot of people are saying that they can hear. Stephanie, what's up?
It's amazing that Sleepy Joe had all the wherewithal to win this election the way he did, being so sneaky and everything. And
Yeah, it's amazing. How does somebody so cognitively dissonant end up masterminding the entire election? You know who it was? It was AOC, the 38-year-old.
Okay.
And it starts right here with the amazing...
Yeah, that's 75 million so far. That's just what's been reported so far. That's correct, Katie.
Patriots in Arizona, and you're proving the fake news media wrong. You're proving them wrong because the evidence is monumental. Just like Russia. Remember? Mm-hmm. People would come up to me during the campaign, the first campaign, and they'd say, "Sir, do you know anything about Russia?" Now, what do you ask?
No, we're going into the locker up.
Yeah. During the first campaign, before anybody was talking about Russia, people were coming up to him asking if he knew anything about Russia. No, I don't know anything. You know, during the time that he was signing letters of intent to do business with Russia in Moscow, building Trump Tower. No, I don't know.
There was like these rumors.
Whoa, okay, they made him loud again. This time too loud.
One would come up a month later, "Sir, do you have anything to do with Russia?"
Same guy? Who is this guy who kept asking? Except he had an accent. "Sir, do you have anything to know to be with Russia, yes?"
No. I never even thought of it. But after I got asked that question 4 or 5 times, I said, what the hell is going on with Russia?
Oh, that reminds me. I got an audition to do with a Russian accent. So I'm glad I did that right now. Otherwise, I'd totally forgotten about it.
And it was a fake deal made up by Hillary Clinton with a...
Marcy Grover.
Aren't there several famous photos of his entire family doing business in Russia, like in 2014?
2013, I believe. He went to... It could be 2012. Could be 2021. Yeah, he did his Miss Universe, Miss Universal, Miss Beauty Butt pageant or whatever it was in Moscow. So yeah, his family's all over Russia, and they know some Russian pop star who's always... Yeah, it's very much involved in Russia.
The fake dossier where they paid...
I don't know what they're shouting.
Lock her up. Lock
They
her
play a
up.
different
I knew it
game.
was coming.
But you know, ultimately, we're much bigger than them. We have many more people because when you go over
They just don't vote.
their policies, the fact is those policies are not a 50% of the vote. We have many, many more people.
They're not like my policies. That great healthcare plan, the infrastructure, the school choice you never got. All of those policies that never actually happened. It's not. The Democrats are so against them.
They're tough, they're mean, and they stick together. They do stick together. But their policies are so bad, they're so pathetic. If they ever had our policies, maybe there'd be no Republican Party, I must be honest with you.
Well, yeah, because then they would be the Republicans. He's such a moron. Stephanie, what's up?
Well, they had such great policies. They decided to not make any for this year, for 2020.
Yeah, the Republican Party had no platform in 2020. Yeah. The only platform was Trump.
We
follow our policy, though.
It started with these incredible people, many of whom are sitting right here. The state senators from Arizona, it started with them. And now it's turning out to be a revolution in this country. Because people are saying, even some Democrats, they're saying no. Knowing what happened in the election is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And what are they trying to hide? Why wouldn't they want it? Now, they're trying to hide at a level. That's why I don't understand guys like Ducey and your commissioners. These commissioners are so bad.
Yeah, these are all Republicans he's referring to, by the way. Stephanie, go ahead.
I love it when they rip each other apart.
Yep, leave Trump. That's why I didn't want Trump to get convicted in the second impeachment. Let the cancer stay in the body, and the body is tearing itself apart right now. Sir.
But you know, you have the witch hunt. Remember the great witch hunt?
Boy, do we.
And the impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2.
Yeah.
And it shows you how the Republicans can really stick together. We have great Republicans. You have Jim Jordan.
Many Republicans voted to impeach him and also to convict him. Remember, seven voted to convict him in the impeachment trial. But yeah, they all stick together.
You have, I mean, I'm going to get in trouble, but you have Jim Jordan and Devin, and by the way, you have 3 of them here tonight. These guys, I'm going to I hope you love them all because those 3 are fighters, but we'll introduce them in a second. They've already probably
You don't have
spoken.
to.
I hope they
You don't have to.
That way they won't take up any of our time, right?
Good.
But they're great. Here's just some of the shocking information the auditors in Arizona have already reported. So this is reported.
None of this is true.
This isn't coming from Trump. This has been reported. More than 74,000. Now, I lost by about 10,000. We didn't lose. We won by a lot. But they
Okay.
they say we lost.
Yeah.
So we need more than 10. So here we go. And we have numerous categories, almost all of which are much more than we would need to win the election. And again, remember the word determinative. If I lost by 10 and we found out that there were only 2 dead people, okay? But there were.
He said 2 dead people because that's how many dead people voted in Georgia. 2 people voted for deceased voters in Georgia. 2. That's why he said 2 dead people. But that's actually what they've said thousands of it was 2.
There were thousands and thousands of dead people that voted in different states. Thousands and thousands. Some
in Georgia, there were 2.
Even applied for.
In Pennsylvania, there were at least 2 who voted for their mothers pretending to vote for Trump.
An application to vote. Do you believe that? So not only did they vote, they applied for an application. But if we had 2 dead people and we lost by 10,000, I don't consider that. I only talk when.
All right. Well, that's what happened.
It's much more than you need. So think of this: 74,000 mail-in ballots were counted with no clear record of them being ever sent. Other than that, it was very good. There's no record of them being sent, but they were counted.
No. The auditors haven't seen the record of them being sent because they can't figure out what's on the hard disk they were given. That's where that comes from. And the state, the Maricopa County Board of Elections is like, no, we gave you that. Well, we don't know where it is. It's in there. Well, we can't find it. So they can't find it. That doesn't mean there's no record of it. It has been audited already by an actual verifiable, certified auditing agency, certified by the government, by the federal government, not the state government. There's a process to this. There are 2 legally certified auditing companies in terms of election audits in the United States. But, yeah. Oh, spoiler alert, Coding Ninjas is not one of them.
So nobody knows where the hell are they, but we will count them.
They're on the drive.
The county has refused to disclose how many of these 74,000 were in-person early votes and how many were magically appearing in a mail-in ballot box near you. How about those boxes? How about those boxes? How about those boxes where they were coming in and Biden was getting 97% of the vote? No, I don't think so. I mean, in all fairness, we came for rallies here. We had 42,000 and 44,000. And he came and he could.
No, he never had anywhere close to 42 or 44,000. He would have had to be in a football stadium. Hockey rinks, etc. do not hold 44,000 people.
Couldn't fill the 8 circles.
Remember, right before the election, he came there and he was at like a business industrial park where they were having a round table with Hispanic business people. That was not 44,000.
They had to use the fake news. No, they were calling the news. Please, would you please stand over here, please? They're getting newspaper reporters and reporters to stand there. They're standing with cameras. They couldn't fill the 8 circles. The only thing I liked about his campaign, because he didn't really campaign, the cabal campaigned. Lots of people campaigned for him.
Cabal.
But I did like the contractor, and it wasn't.
That's the universal sign language for contractor. Making a circle with your finger. That means contractor.
Hunter Biden with his artistry.
Oh, now it's also artistry. So contractor or artistry, either one.
You think of that. No, the contractor, those circles.
Yeah, the contractor.
Were so beautiful the way they were done. You know, I'm very good at building buildings and painting and all these different things. So
he's very good at painting, apparently, Donald Trump.
Painting, like, I know what a good paint job is. And you're not getting it from Hunter. But it was so...
When someone paints a portrait or a piece of art, typically we don't call it a paint job. Marcy.
There was another historical figure who was really good at painting too. Well, he was so good at painting.
There was. We don't do any comparisons like that here. No, sir.
I didn't mention any names, although he immigrated from Austria. But,
Mussolini. Yeah, Italian. I love you.
Giorno.
Professionally, it was so professionally done. It was incredible. So good. In fact, I probably won't do it yet, but at some point I'm going to find out the name of the contractor that did those circles because I want to use them for something. But what about Hunter Biden getting $500,000 per painting? And
the paintings haven't been sold yet. Marcy.
Yes. Oh, no, no, that was the cat. My bad. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marcy's cat. You don't get that anywhere else.
He never painted before. Could you imagine if my kids did that? Could you imagine? And now they're justifying it.
Yeah, Willie, Hunter Biden is a Yale University grad lawyer. That is true. And he's been on several boards, including on Amtrak. And he served as a lawyer in the armed forces. Yes, so he does have experience as a lawyer.
Well, we want to make it non-transparent. No, actually, you should make it transparent, I guess. But actually, you shouldn't make it at all because it's a bribe. It's a bribe, 100% bribe. You know, you have good painters.
Why would Joe Biden, who's worth millions, who, when done with his presidency, will get a $20 million drop for a book, as many books as he wants, will get a deal with Netflix like Obama. There are millions of dollars at stake here. Why would he take a $50,000 to $75,000 bribe for someone buying Hunter's paintings? It makes no sense whatsoever. Besides, they've already looked at this. The Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson committee did a report on suspected bribes, etc., with Joe Biden. It was 87 pages long, and it determined that no laws were broken and that no policy was affected by anything that happened with Hunter Biden. That's the Republicans saying that.
For $250, you can have a portrait done.
At random is correct. Speaking engagements alone, a former president gets $10,000 to $20,000 per speaking engagement. Joe Biden could do 3 speaking engagements and make more than Hunter does for his paintings. It makes no sense. It's ridiculous.
On Central Park, guys with pencils, they do so incredible. They're geniuses. They're just geniuses. You go to Central Park and they have all these artists lined up. You negotiate a deal. They'll do it for $250. They're unbelievably talented. Some of them are beyond belief what they can do in a short period of time. Hunter Biden's getting $500,000. It's a bribe. It's disgraceful. And the fake news media is talking about it like it's okay. But we should have transparency. It's unbelievable. And the laptop, I miss you too. And the laptop from hell, it's a laptop from hell. When you look at that laptop, people are writing about it, meaning a very tiny group of people are writing. Some books are coming out, some books by some very good people. But you know what? When you look at the laptop from hell, and then you watch the interview, it was Russia that did his laptop. Then they say, was it Russia? Well, it may have been me. It may have been them. I think that's the end of that one. It's
What?
always Russia. Do you ever notice it's never China? Because they're all getting rich from China. They're not getting rich from Russia. It's always Russia. Russia did it. Russia did it again.
Well, Russia has been pushing this laptop. They've been pushing it for a couple of years. Remember when Rudy Giuliani was talking about the laptop before anyone knew that the laptop existed? Because of Rudy Giuliani's ties to Russia. That's how it works.
It's a disgrace. By the way, I stopped their pipeline. It was stopped. They have a
He did not.
pipeline going into Germany, going into Europe. I stopped it. I put sanctions on all these states and all of these.
That's not how you put a sanction on something. And no, he didn't actually stop the pipeline. By the time Joe Biden got to office, the pipeline was 95% complete.
All of these companies who are
And Germany wants the pipeline.
building it, Biden approved it. And then, as you know, you've heard this before, he stopped the Keystone XL pipeline.
Right, which is foreign oil. Joe Biden wants America to be truly energy independent, something we've never been before. We can't be energy independent if we're building pipelines and bringing in foreign oil. It just doesn't work that way.
And the real number is 48, not 8. They said 8,000, 48,000 jobs. And they lost all over the country. People sold their home. They were so excited they were going to be building this pipeline, environmentally much better than a truck, much better, frankly, than a train or railroad, much safer. They were building it, and he stopped it like in the first week. He stopped it, and yet he approves the biggest pipeline in
The first day.
the world, going from Russia to Germany, and we're supposed to protect Germany. I said that. I said,
And Germany wants the pipeline.
by the way, you would have never even heard about that pipeline if it wasn't for me.
Right, because that's Germany and Russia. That if Germany, our ally, wants the pipeline, why should we block their energy needs? They're doing more than any other country except for China in order to go green. Germany's doing the right thing. Why should we block Germany?
Stream 2, Nord Stream. Nobody ever heard of that. Nobody ever talked about it until I came along. Nobody did. Look, I get along with Putin because that's a good thing. I got along with him. He got along with me. But nobody was ever tougher on Russia than I was. This pipeline is the biggest thing they've ever done. This is billions and billions. And I asked Angela, and I get along with Angela too, but she's doing what she's doing for Germany, although I think the pipeline's a big mistake for Germany, because they might as well just wave the red flag or the white flag, because it's over.
Either one, depending on whether the Russians are a country or a bull. Either flag will do. ICO 1A.
It's over. They're going to get 60, 70% of their energy from Russia. So I said, so let me ask you, so we're spending billions of dollars to protect you from Russia. and you're paying billions and billions of dollars for energy to Russia. What the hell is that all about, right?
Well, there's energy needs. Germany, a manufacturing powerhouse, they have energy needs. That's what that's about. It's really simple.
So I stopped it, and within a couple of weeks, he approved it, and now they're going to be restarting it, and they'll have it finished in a couple of months, and they're going to make billions and billions of dollars.
Whoa, they'll have it finished in a couple of months? Wow, it must have been almost complete.
But the American pipeline is stopped, and I can only say
It's a Canadian pipeline.
that's called America First versus America Last. I mean,
It's called American Energy Independence, is what it's called.
just, they're destroying, look, they are destroying our country. And you know, if the election were the way it were, and
Okay, it was.
let's say they were doing a great job, number one, you probably wouldn't be as enthusiastic. Let's say they were doing a great job. By the way, your Arizona border, which I put up the wall, and it was great. It was the best it ever was. And now,
The wall that you put up is still there, Mr. Trump. It's still on the border. No wall has been taken down.
and now what's pouring into your state is not even to be believed. Not even to be believed. But you know what? If instead of doing the horrible, they're saying it was the worst 6 months in the history of the presidency. I don't know that that's true, but I would say it is. If you look at what's happened to the
What? When has that ever stopped you? I don't know if this thing is true, but I'll say that it is. Yeah, that is so Trump. That is right on brand. Marcy, what's up?
Oh, this is super inspirational.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
economy. How about the vaccine? I came up with the vaccine. They said it would take 3
Please say get the vaccine. Please say get the vaccine. Please say I've received the vaccine. We have the Delta variant, which is now sweeping the nation. We don't want to go back to wearing masks. We don't want to have to go back to lockdowns. We don't want to shut businesses. Let's put America first and put that vaccine in your arms. Please say that.
3 to 5 years, gonna save the world. I recommend you take it, but I also believe in your freedoms 100%. But just so you understand.
Oh, okay, but let's concentrate on the you should take it. That you just said it. Get it out there. Put it at the end of the sentence because they're like dogs. They only understand the last couple of words that you say.
But it was a great achievement. It was a great achievement. Then, and we
Okay, so you should indulge my achievement is what you want to go with there.
started with doing 1 million people a day, and then they said, we're going to put a pause on one of the vaccines. What that did, that set it back so badly. And so now they're saying what a wonderful job he did. They don't say it too much anymore. With respect to giving the vaccine, now it's turning out that they can't say that anymore. And what they've done is because they don't trust the president, people aren't doing it. And that's as simple as it can be. We did such an incredible job with...
Okay, if they don't trust Biden, but they do trust you, can you please tell them to do like you did and get the vaccine? That's all we're asking. Tell them, say, you shouldn't trust Biden. He's not in his right mind, but I am. Get the vaccine. It's my vaccine. I came up with it. I'm Trump, etc. Call it the Trump vaccine. Call it the Trump virus. Whatever you want to do, tell them to get the vaccine.
With COVID, with getting the gowns, the supplies, the ventilators, the mask, everything, and the press did nothing but kill us. They would say, look
What?
how well India's doing compared to the United States.
Wait a second. The press did nothing but killers?
The ventilators, the mask, everything, and the press did nothing but kill us. They would say...
Killers. I think he's trying to say kill us. And why? Talking about COVID and saying the press killed us?
Hey, look how well India's doing compared to the United States. How's India doing? How is India doing? India's going through hell. They said, look how
Yeah, guess who's India now?
well South Korea's doing.
Guess where the Delta variant comes from?
They would always try and pick the best country anywhere
Yeah, South Korea's doing awesome. All of the other countries except us.
in the world that had the least problem. Those countries now are being ravaged by this plague
Like we are.
was sent to us by China. And by the way, China has to pay us retribution.
I didn't pause the volume.
All right. There were nearly 4,000 people who voted with a registration date after the cutoff on October 15th.
That's completely untrue. Not a thing.
You have a cutoff, a legal cutoff, but thousands of people voted, and that's illegal. Why
It never happened.
did 4,000 people vote? Additionally,
Any vote that was received after Election Day was not counted.
there were more than 11,000 individuals who were not on the voter rolls the day after the election. Think of that. They weren't
It's not true. That's impossible.
on the voter
You can't get a ballot if you're not on the rolls. It's complete nonsense.
rolls the day after the election, but who were on the list of voters that was published 1 month after the election. So they weren't there for the election, but a month later they happened to find them, okay? This alone is more than the supposed margin that you needed. It's 10,457 votes. We beat it in every category. There were 18,000 people who voted in Arizona in 2020 who were then purged from the rolls immediately after the election. Why didn't they?
They didn't vote. They were purged because they didn't vote in 2020. That's what states do. That's what counties do. This is how it's done. If you don't vote for a certain number of elections, you're then taken off the voting rolls because they've assumed that you've either died and they've somehow missed it, or you've moved to another county. That is standard operating procedure.
Purge them before, Sonny. Could I ask you that question? I mean, you know, Sonny said they cheated. They cheated.
Willie, I guess, tell me an example of what you're talking about with Joe mumbling, being a statesman, and Donald telling the truth. Give me an example of Donald telling the truth. I mean, he's just lying over and over again here, and I'm telling you why. But, you know, if you have anything, actual evidence, like any evidence of voter fraud, let us know, rather than just randomly spewing out nonsense.
Cheated. We're becoming like a third world nation, and it's happening. And then 168,000 ballots were found to be printed on unofficial, very thin, flimsy paper. In other words,
Not true.
sounds to me like they were short of ballots and they just made them up, because you have what's called, quote, voter secure paper. It's very heavy. It's like the dollar bill. It's like, you know, it's very complex stuff. But they didn't
The dollar bill is not printed on paper. Moving on, Mr. President.
have that. And so they had 168,000 votes, and that's
And nobody can see this. No, sorry.
required. It's required. You have to have it. And they found it on paper. And the reason they noticed it, I guess, number one, it was very light, but they saw that when you hit it with a certain pen, it went right through the paper. They said, what the hell kind of paper is this? That's 168,000 votes. And so that also would have...
Here's the deal. Sharpie can be used on ballots in Arizona, okay? Sharpie will bleed through paper. So they use this really thick paper in ballots that are going out, the mail-in ballots, ballots at the places, at the voting places where you have to use a pen. Most of the ballots are filled out on a computer at the voting place. But anyway, so if you use Sharpie, it can bleed through. It's not supposed to, but it can, depending on how long you leave the Sharpie on there. The way that Sharpies work is the more you press, the more ink comes out. So it's possible to bleed through even very thick paper. Here's what they do. There are barcodes on the ballots. You've seen them. You voted probably. Here in the States, there's barcodes. They don't line up with the other side of the ballot. So even if there is bleed through, you're not going to affect any markings on the other side. The ballots are designed that way. It was called Sharpiegate. At the beginning, right after the election, people in Arizona were saying, oh my God, they told me I can't vote with Sharpie and now my ballot is invalid and blah, blah. No. It is completely legal to vote with a Sharpie, and bleed through doesn't matter because they're not lined up. They're on opposite sides. When you flip the paper over, the markings don't affect anything.
been invalidated, they wouldn't have allowed it to be on election day. They wouldn't have allowed it. 168,000 votes. I wonder who they voted for. Tell me. I wonder who they voted for.
Well, we know who they voted for because the votes have all been tabulated and double counted and triple counted and audited and then audited again. So we're good.
Would you say it was 100% for Biden or 97%? It was also revealed in a recent hearing that
I would say that it should be 100% for Biden.
there are thousands and thousands of duplicated ballots that do not have a serial number, suggesting that votes may have been fraudulently duplicated and
May have been fraudulently duplicated. May have been. Marcy.
Just noticing that logo behind him for Turning Point. It should be going counterclockwise. They've got it going in completely the wrong direction as per their mission statement.
Oh, are they trying to take things back in time?
They are.
Okay, so they're going forward in time with that. But
Right.
good call, good call.
counted multiple times, time after time after time. You saw it in Georgia. You saw those people go in. They said, there's a water main break. Everybody leave. Everybody leave. Everybody got the hell out. They don't want to drown. They don't want a water main break. A few minutes, a short while later, a woman, a political operative, we all know her name. We all know her name. And it should have been taken care of. It should have been taken care of. But a woman comes in, but it is now. It's in court, and it's a big deal. She came in with a group. She didn't go back to her machine. They went
She did. She went back to her machine.
for the table. They lifted up the skirt of the table, and lo and behold,
There were the ballots that they had put there earlier in the day in the secure ballot suitcases. They're not suitcases, by the way. They're ballot boxes, but they call them suitcases, so we'll just go with that.
it was loaded up with ballots, but they weren't ballots that were in boxes that ballots come.
Nope, they were. They were exactly that.
They were in other, whether it was suitcases, it was totally different. They took those
Nope, they were exactly what they should have been in.
and they started putting them in, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 5 times.
Nope, the way that works is with the Dominion counting machine, you take a pile of about 50, you put them in there, you scan them through. If there's a problem, it tells you. And it says discard number 32 or number 35 or whatever. You take anything that's bent out of the batch, you discard the batch in the computer. You click discard. That batch is not counted anymore. You take the paper, you make it nice, you put it back in the scanner, it scans them again, then it counts them. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 before you go like, which one is it? Okay, let's take this out. It's got a crease. Oh, there, now it accepted it. Now you accept the batch. So until you have a good batch without any bent ballots and stuff like that in it, you don't accept it. You discard it. That's exactly how it's supposed to happen, and that's what this woman did.
And they stood there, and I'll tell you what, when people looked at that, they got sick. People threw up looking at it. Law enforcement did very little, but now what's happening is...
Did law enforcement throw up?
I believe the courts are going to do a lot. It's a
People threw up looking at this woman doing her job.
big deal going on. That was total criminal behavior. So you hear those hundreds of thousands of votes. We won the state of Arizona, and we won it decisively, and we won other of these states. Isn't it amazing? Barack Hussein Obama.
Boo. Hussein, boo.
He beat Biden all over the country decisively. So did Hillary, except in 5 swing states where Biden wiped him out with the black population. So I think that...
Okay, but that was 2 elections ago, and more people are voting now specifically to get rid of you. So that's on you, buddy.
He's not going to beat Obama, but only in these states.
Joe Biden wasn't up against Obama in this election. Obama's done. He got his 2 presidencies, and then he can't run anymore. That's what you're supposed to do, is get a second presidency. That's what you didn't do, but okay.
These states.
Yeah.
So he did poorly, except in these states, he had massive victories. We're really smart people. We can't let this happen. We can't let this happen. Yet this is only the beginning of the irregularities the Arizona audit is uncovering. The authors and the auditors have collected a sworn affidavit stating...
It said auditors. He read authors.
Beginning of the irregularities the Arizona audit is uncovering. The authors and the auditors have collected
Both of them, the authors who wrote the fraud and the auditors of the fraud,
a sworn affidavit stating that county election work
affidavit?
auditors have collected a sworn affidavit stating that county election workers lowered
Yeah, the stroke is mighty with this one today.
signature matching standards from 20 points of comparison to 10 to 5 and eventually down to 0. In other words, they
No.
abolished all signature matching entirely.
They did not. That's complete nonsense.
In other words, you have a bad signature. So the machine was picking up a lot of bad signatures. They said, this is no good. Let's lower it. Let's lower it. They brought it down to 0, so you had no signature matching. Perhaps
They
this
didn't.
is why the county has refused to comply with an official subpoena sent out by your great Senate to provide images of the envelopes, which would prove whether they counted ballots and whether or not they had signatures at all, because we think many of them had no signature at all, because you can't sign them all during the night. We
What?
think they didn't, and you know what else they didn't have? They
Oh.
didn't have folds. In
Oh.
order to have a ballot counted.
Okay, so he's saying that the Democrats somehow were able to put in a whole bunch of votes, a whole bunch of ballots that weren't attached to any kind of signature. That's what he's saying. And they did this in the middle of the night, and they didn't have time to sign the envelopes, is what he's saying.
It has to be folded.
But here's the trouble is that the counties don't want to release that information because that's personal information. And they don't want to release that information because now you're giving people their signatures to an audit company that you don't know what they're going to do with it. They could release it publicly, and now your signature is being released publicly to everybody. And that's not necessarily a good thing, Marcy.
This sounds like a rejected Scooby-Doo plot.
And they would have gotten away with it too if not for those meddling morons.
Yep.
But so many of these pages are laying flat, without a crease, without a fold. Cybersecurity experts have also testified that the logs for the election management system software were wiped under highly suspicious circumstances.
They weren't. This has already been discussed. They said, oh, you deleted everything. Oh my God, they've deleted everything. The counties deleted everything. And then the county said, no, it's right here. And then they said, oh my God, they deleted it, and then they put it back. They just didn't know where to find it on their hard drive.
This is them saying it, not me. With more than 37...
Yeah, Willie, I'm not a Democrat. I didn't vote for Hillary. I've never registered with a political party. I'm a independent.
7,000 requests made to the server in a single day. Think of that. Erasing the data permanently for the entire period surrounding the election. Gee, I wonder why they erased the data surrounding the election. I wonder why.
Well, they didn't, so you don't have to wonder anymore.
The county has, for whatever reason, also refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny.
He has no idea what a router does.
Wendy, we got to get those routers, please. The routers.
Oh, so the
Come on,
bamboo.
Kelly, we can get those routers. Those routers.
Routers should have been the drinking word.
You know what? We're so beyond the routers. There's so many fraudulent
Because you don't know anything about routers.
votes without the router. But if you got those routers, what that will show, and they don't want to give up
What will it show? Please tell us what's on the routers, Mr. Trump.
the routers. They don't want to give them.
Yeah.
They are fighting like hell. Why are these commissioners fighting not to give the routers? How simple could it be? That will tell the truth.
Really? How will the routers tell the truth, sir?
What are they trying to hide?
That's an excellent question. What are they trying to hide by not showing you the routers?
Unbelievably, the auditors have testified that the master database for the election...
The master database? So a fish controlled the entire election. And we would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for these meddling fish.
Election management system, sorry to tell you, has been deleted. I wonder why it was deleted. I wonder...
It hasn't. Again, same story. We can't find it. It's been deleted. No, it's right here.
Sonny, why was it deleted, please? Meaning the main database for all of the election-related data in Maricopa in 2020 has been illegally erased. It's been
Nope.
erased.
Has not.
The county has also refused to provide the authority for the information. We want the information needed to access vote tabulation devices. To top it all off, they've refused to hand over the all-important chain of custody documentation for Maricopa County ballots. They don't want to give it. Why don't they want to give it? Why? I stand
Because it's been audited by official auditing companies already.
before you today to demand nothing less than full and complete cooperation from Maricopa County and from the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, who have fought your Senate at every single turn.
Again, these are Republicans fighting the Senate. The Republican Senate. These are people who are saying, absolutely not. We're not going to release confidential data, confidential information, personal information of Americans to these idiots. We're not going to do it.
Incredibly. Why? 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 Why are Republicans fighting it? All they have to do is hand it over, and they're either going to be right. They're not even saying they're right. They just don't want it. They don't even say they're right. They know. I think they know a hell of a lot about what happened. But why don't they want to do that? The citizens of Arizona, an incredible state that, as you know, I won 4 years ago, and I won it again. Somebody came in from a media group, a very good media group, actually, said, what was the difference between 2016 and 2020? I said, well, the difference was I actually did much better in 2020. It's true. We got 75 million votes. We got 12 million votes more. No president in history has ever gotten anywhere close to 12 million more votes. And that's with them doing counting. So you can imagine what the real number is, okay? No, you can imagine. Because the easiest way of cheating is to throw them away. That's easier.
We actually don't imagine election results in the United States. That's not the way we do things.
The postmen don't have to deliver them. The post office doesn't have to deliver them. You know, it's a very Democrat group, and why not? They have the greatest pension plan that anybody's ever seen. Why not? And that's okay. But, you know, a lot of them didn't go to their location, and when they were signed, they didn't get brought back. But when you think about it, and when you think about the corruptness, why don't these people want to find out the truth? The citizens of America deserve answers. We're talking about America. You know, we're not talking about Arizona anymore.
We're talking about America now. Okay, thank you. That's what you meant when you said America? Okay.
We're talking about the United States of America, because this has gone on, and I hate to say it, but this...
You hate to say America? I know.
Because you're really bad.
They are
This
really
has
bad.
gone much worse
Yeah.
in Detroit, Michigan. Much worse. We have a bunch of rhino senators up there, the exact opposite. You have one or two. We have a whole bunch of them up there. But we have a bunch of rhino senators. This is not as bad anywhere near, in my opinion, as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You take a look at Philadelphia. What they did to our poll watchers were incredible. We had poll watchers, nice people, great people. They love our country. They were Republican, but more than anything else, they want an honest counter. They just wanted to be, they'd turn them in either way. They were physically thrown the hell out, and they couldn't get in for days. So during that period of time, vast numbers of things happened that are terrible. And not only did they throw them out, they boarded up the windows so they couldn't even see inside. And then we got a court order, and they wouldn't obey the...
A court order? Yeah, because they were banging on the windows, and they weren't auditors. They were just people that wanted to see.
Court order. And then...
There were auditors in there. Observers, I should say. There were Republican observers in the Fulton County arena. Everybody else was like, if you're not, you got to get out. You don't belong here. You're not certified. You're not an observer. And so they started banging on the windows. So to stop the banging on the windows, they boarded up the windows so that they could no longer see what was going on inside.
They kept them 60 feet away. Do you know what 60 feet? That's like me looking at a vote with the lady in the beautiful red dress right over there, right? That's 60 feet. And I'm saying, oh, gee, how's that ballot? I'm 60 feet away.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be able to see the ballots. Again, we have a secret ballot in this country. If you can see the ballots, not secret.
They were threatened by thugs. In Georgia, a recent review of ballot images
Also known as police officers. Back the blue.
has shown that the error rate in the hand audit of Atlanta's Fulton
What?
County,
The what rate?
the error rate
Error rate.
in Georgia, a recent review
That's a reminder, folks. In the middle of the summer, it's really important that you error rate your lawn.
of
If you
ballot
have one.
images has shown that the error rate in the hand audit of Atlanta's Fulton County was a whopping 60%. Would you say that's high? Including outright fabricated vote totals as well as obvious duplications of ballots amounting to potentially thousands and thousands.
Fulton County's been recounted twice, and then a third time, hand recount. No error rate. Error rate.
Of extra votes for Joe Biden. All of this is in addition to the recently discovered 35,000 illegal votes that were potentially cast by people who did not live in the county in which they voted, minor detail, as well as 100,000 people who were purged from the Georgia rolls after the election.
Because they didn't vote. None of those 100,000 people who were purged after the election voted in the election.
Look at this. I lost by like 11,000. You know? 11,000. They have 100,000 plus. They were purged. They were deleted after the election was over, far exceeding the margin needed for a Republican presidential victory. That's just that one item. That's only one, but we have many. In other words, it is determinative. It's no wonder that Joe Biden and the radical Democrats are going absolutely crazy, screaming about voting rights, ranting about democracy. They want democracy, and resisting every effort to look into the massive fraud in 2020. Just so you understand, we talk about cancel culture. The biggest thing that they want canceled is they don't want you talking about the election that just took place, because they say, holy shit, they caught us. They caught us. They caught us. And we've seen it. It's a scandal, the likes of which we've never had. But the only way you get away with a scandal is if they don't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. But they're going to have to. If your votes are like people are thinking they're going to be, and when you get up and announce whatever it may be, it's not going to be able, they're not going to be able not to talk about it. The press is so dishonest. They don't want to talk about it. But if you think about cancel, everything about cancel culture.
Okay, but they already had a hearing, and the press really didn't talk about it, except OAN, because no one's taking it seriously, because it's a joke. Again, they want to canvass every citizen in Maricopa County and ask them for whom they voted.
They want cancel culture, but what they don't want to do is anything having to do with the 2020 election. They almost got away with it. They may have gotten away with it. We're going to find out, because something's going to have to be done.
They did get away. If they hadn't have gotten away with it, you'd be in the White House, sir.
But I don't think so. I don't think so. If somebody robs Tiffany, a beautiful jeweler, 57th and 5th, good location, excellent location, and they steal the diamonds.
Everybody in Phoenix is like, yeah, 57th and 5th, that's uptown, right? Is that... Marcy, what's up? Tell me about Tiffany's.
Melania's side piece, Hank, is head of security for that Tiffany's.
Oh, that's what's going on with Tiffany's. He's been there. Good location, good location, good location.
And then they get caught. They have to turn the diamonds back. It's very simple. Amazing the way it works.
Turn the diamonds back. He has a lot of expressions that are sort of expressions. Just sort of generalized ideas of expressions. Remember, he said that the White House was a finely tuned clock and a finely tuned machine and a well-oiled clock. Like, he just gets things. I can't even. Turn the diamonds back. Back in, back over, return the diamonds. There's a number of expressions you could use. Turn the diamonds back is not an English thing to say. It's just not Englishy. Well, it is Englishy. It's just not English.
Amazing the way it works.
It is amazing the way it works.
And I only wish that my friend Mike Pence had that additional courage to
Oh, that's what he says. Well-oiled watch.
send the
Finely tuned watch. Well-oiled machine. That's how machines work. You don't oil watches. Well, you do a little bit of oil, but that's not the expression.
results back to the legislatures because it all happened so quickly. You know, they schemed in this plan for 4 years. This all happened so quickly. If he would have sent it back to the legislature, somebody gave him bad advice, you know.
You can't send things back to the legislatures. That's not in the Constitution. That is not how America works.
The great Thomas Jefferson, you know what happened? Georgia, they couldn't count their votes accurately. Hear ye, the great state of Georgia cannot accurately count its votes. You know what Thomas Jefferson said? Long time ago, he said, then we will keep the votes from the great state of Georgia. He didn't say we're going to send it back. He didn't do, I'm saying just send it back.
No. See, that's the precedent. That's exactly what I just said. There is no sending the votes back. Because they're not votes, they're electors.
Maybe it comes back. But when you have...
No, it doesn't. Because there was an issue in 1776 when some of the southern states decided they were going to send 2 sets of electors. Then we had the Electoral Count Act in 1888. Did I say 1776? 1876. If I didn't say 1876, I meant 1876. In 1888, Congress said, well, that was a cluster. Let's fix this with the Electoral Count Act. So we know what exactly should happen. And that's what happened. There's no sending the votes back.
more votes in some places by a lot.
There is reinstating a president if he's upset about things on August 13th. There is that. But you don't send the votes back. You just you wait a while, and then you're suddenly like, well, let's find ourselves a pillow manufacturing, and he gets to set the date for when a president is reinstated.
Then you have voters. I think Mike would have had the right to say,
Mike
excuse
Lindell.
me, we have more votes than we have voters. If you don't mind, please take a look at it. Just a couple of the basics. Just a little basics. So I wish he did that. I wish he did that. The radical left, Democrat, Communist Party.
So I'm guessing Mike Pence won't be Trump's running mate in 2024?
Rigged and stole the election, and we caught them. The time to hold them responsible and fix this broken and corrupt system is not in 2022, where it may be just as corrupt, and if it is, you're not going to win, or in 2024. The time is right now here in Arizona.
Nothing they do here will change anything.
Right now.
Beware the Ides of August. It's true, Kim.
And you know what? If you don't get down to it, and if you don't find, I hate to say this because it's terrible for our country, but you're going to have Republicans that aren't going to want to vote. They're not going to want to work for Kelly. They're not going to want to have to work for Wendy and for Borelli, Mr. Italy. They're not going to work for you.
Mr. Italy.
You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, we're not going to let it happen again. And that's what happened to the two senators.
We're just not going to vote. When the going gets tough, the tough don't vote. That's the expression.
They're not going to work for you, and you got to get going. It's the most important issue. You got to get going. We don't have the luxury to sit back and to wait until the next election. We don't. So many people, and they're such good. I said it before. Sir, think to the future. You're leading in the polls. We just got back from CPAC. I was at 98% approval rating in the poll.
At CPAC.
98%.
Woo!
Sonny, what am I here? I don't know. Do you think we're at 98? I want to find out. I don't know. 98. 98. And they say to, sir, you're leading in the polls, sir. You're way ahead of everybody. Running 24, sir. You're going to win. And I say, wait a minute. I just won 6 months ago.
What good would that do? Well, if you won 6 months ago, you can't run again. So there you go. Tough. 13th.
The survival of our nation depends on holding these responsible, and we have to hold
Those responsible. Holding those responsible, sir. You're misreading the teleprompter again. You should talk to the authors.
these responsible elections. We have to hold those that are responsible.
Those
for the
that are
2020
responsible.
Presidential election scam. It was a scam. Greatest crime in history. And we have to hold these people accountable, and hopefully, and I say this, and I have confidence in it, hopefully your Attorney General, Mark Bronovich, your state Attorney General...
I have confidence in my hope. And I say it.
Take information, this incredible information given by these incredible warriors and patriots, he's going to take it, and he's going to do what everybody knows has to be done. If he doesn't do that, it would be so sad.
Which
and
is
your
what?
Governor, Doug Ducey, he will be of no help to you. No help to you. It's incredible. He doesn't want to know the answer. But more is being found out and uncovered every single day, not only in Arizona, but all over the country. Numbers like you wouldn't believe. Just this month, the former U.S. Attorney for Philadelphia, William McShane. Look, you know, did you ever hear of him? William McSwain.
Yeah, because he's not William
Previously
McShane.
Prosecuted much ballot stuffing, many cases.
Much ballot
in Philadelphia,
stuffing.
Published a stunning letter, and he did it.
William McSwain. Did you ever hear of him?
Like you wouldn't believe. Just this month, the former U.S. Attorney for Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
William McShane.
William McShade.
You know, did you ever hear of him? William McSwain.
McSwade.
Who previously prosecuted
He sounds Swady.
ballot stuffing, many cases in Philadelphia, published a stunning letter, and he did it, I think, from the heart, stating that his office received allegations of large-scale voter fraud. This is Philadelphia. And election irregularities all over Philadelphia. And also, one of the most corrupt places from a voter standpoint to another, along with Detroit and some others, one of the most corrupt places. But he found, and he wanted to investigate all of this, but the Attorney General, Bill Barr, ordered him to stand down. And McSwain wasn't the only one, and McSwain is very angry about it. Then Bill Barr went out and said there
So now Bill Barr's the bad guy.
was not fraud in the election of any consequence.
Marcy.
Oh, this McSwain fellow was the attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania from April 2018 to January 2021 when he got the boot by Biden.
That is correct. Also, that was McShade, by the way. McShade, he was one of the characters on Grey's Anatomy who would also always throw shade at the other doctors. Like, I don't know, if I were you, I wouldn't trust McSteamy with that brain operation.
Look at the numbers I'm giving you today.
I mean, what kind of a brain surgeon drives directly into... Oh, you know what? I don't want to... If you haven't seen Grey's Anatomy yet, I don't want to spoil anything.
Look at the numbers. And you know, we need two large ones.
Fun fact, I was McBlurry. That's what they called me on the set of Grey's Anatomy, McBlurry. No, I'm sorry, they called me McHockey. And then later someone called me McBlurry. Because I was blurry on the screen.
Or three small ones. We have many to look at. But two large ones. But in other words, we're right there. So it is of consequence. It's only because...
McSwade! Hello, McSwade!
It's only because
we miss you every day!
sadly, he just didn't look for fraud. When that letter came out from McSwain, that was a sad day for this country. Sad day. And I was wondering, because he was all excited. McSwain was all excited. He was going to go in there. Then one day it was like, it's like somebody died. There was no more excitement. He was told not to do it.
Oh.
One day I noticed that the fake news media was calling Bill Barr a puppet of Donald Trump, and he wasn't a puppet at all. They had a picture of him with strings where I was totally controlling him.
Yeah, that's not a puppet. That's a marionette.
Just not true. They were saying that Bill Barr, you have to go against him, Bill Barr. Then they started saying they were going to impeach him. and they were what's called playing the ref. You know what that is? They're doing it with the Supreme Court too. They're nasty. You see, now again they want to impeach Kavanaugh. Not that they want to impeach him. They want to scare the hell out of him so he votes along the liberal lines. Because if he votes along the liberal lines, they're playing the ref better than the great Bobby Knight of Indiana ever played the ref. Remember, with the chair and the this. They said, Bobby, Bobby.
These are young people in Arizona. They have no idea who Bobby Knight is. Listen to all the... Yeah, Bobby... Like the Dark Knight? Batman? Is that... What are we...
You're not going to win that call. He said, yeah, but I'm going to win the next one. That's what they're doing. The great Bobby Knight, who was one of our great endorsements, I will tell you. When Bobby Knight endorsed Trump, Indiana was... We were doing well there before. You ought to see after. Bobby Knight, he was... That's
we did see after.
But he said, it may not work this time, but it's going to work the next time. And the refs were afraid to say anything. It's true. That's what they're doing with our Supreme Court. They're trying to scare Kavanaugh. They're talking about an impeachment. I just saw it again this morning in the paper. They want to impeach Kavanaugh again. It's not that they do. They want him to rule for them. And if he rules for them, they're never going to impeach him. There's not. But if he rules against them like he's supposed to because he is a conservative, then... But they also don't want to have a packed court. So they're saying, we're going to pack the courts. We're going to pack the courts. And they did the same thing to Barr. They said Trump controls him.
Yeah, no, Biden is not saying they're going to pack the courts. He has not said that. He's shied away from saying that. You know, there's a study going on right now. There's a presidential commission taking a look at it. That will present its results. And Biden might decide to balance the courts. And that's fine. He's the president. He gets to do that. That's the Constitution.
As soon as I saw that, I said, here we go. Because how does he get out of that? Very simply, just do things like the vote wasn't rigged. And he stopped them from doing it. And I'm so saddened by it. But I also want...
Okay, Kavanaugh was one of eight justices who said, we do not want to take a look at this ridiculous suit coming from Texas trying to invalidate the votes of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, etc. It made no difference. His vote did not matter.
Understand it, because nobody does it better than...
I think it was actually 7-2, so he was one of 7. Wouldn't have made a difference.
These crooked Democrats. Nobody does it better.
Could be 8. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was 7, though.
So I don't blame Barr. I don't blame a lot of people, but they become weak and they become ineffective and they become frightened.
I don't blame them, but they're weak and ineffective and frightened, and it's their fault.
Like it or not, we are becoming a communist country. That's what...
We are not.
It's happening. That's what's
it is
happening.
Not. Boo.
We are beyond socialism. You know, when you have no press, when you have no press that you can talk to, that's how a communist country begins. They have
No, they have state media. I mean, you control the media, that you have the press. That's the important part. Wasn't it just a couple of minutes ago that he was saying, look at all the media. Look at all of them out there. Now they're turning off their lights.
Press. We find things in Arizona, and other than a couple of great networks, we have no press. We have no voice. I only have voice because I get great ratings. You know, ultimately ratings are very important. But even those lights, well, they still have those lights going. That's good. I'm very impressed. That's good. Thank you.
I don't know where he's going with this, but none of the networks are covering this. None of them are covering this right now. I don't even know if he's on OAN. We could take a look. Let's keep going.
And if the Democrats get some of the things they currently want passed, including the Election of Corrupt Politicians Act, an infrastructure which isn't infrastructure, it will get even worse. What they're asking for is incredible. The Green New Deal, going to destroy our country, this Green New Deal. It's Green New bullshit, okay? That's what it is. It's bullshit.
Biden doesn't want the Green New Deal.
No more windows in buildings because environment. You know, I always did great with these buildings. The bigger the window, the better I did. The bigger those windows. I wanted floor-to-ceiling windows. But they say you can't do that anymore. We don't want any more windows. It's going to be real hard to sell apartments, I think. We have a beautiful apartment, and for environmental reasons, we have not put windows in the
Good.
building.
OAN is not
People-
broadcasting
so
this.
Whatever happened to cows? Remember, they were going to get rid of all the cows. They stopped that. People didn't like that. Remember?
Marcy, what's up?
Oh, RSBN is the only platform broadcasting this today.
Yeah, I just looked at OAN. It's not there. It's not on Newsmax right now?
Nope.
Okay. Is he still going on? Is anybody watching him in live time? Yeah, it looks like he's still ranting. We are currently 34 minutes behind real time.
You know why they were going to get rid of all the cows? People will be next. People will be next. Sadly, even in many red states, the rhinos are letting the radical left have their way on everything. You know that. In fact, I have to say this. In many cases, these weak Republicans or rhinos, these weak Republicans are worse. They're worse than Democrats. And you have a couple of examples right here in Arizona. And don't nod and don't say it, because I don't want to get you in trouble. Maybe you can convince them to do what's right. But you have a couple of them right here in Arizona, and nobody knows. And I'll tell you what, they're going to be defeated.
No, everybody knows. Marcy, go ahead.
I stand corrected. Newsmax is broadcasting this, but they lost their chat function.
You lie. Or they lost their chat function on YouTube?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. I still have my chat function. Ha ha. Ha ha, Newsmax. This devious liberal still has his chat function, huh? How's that make you feel? Stephanie, what's up? She's muted. Okay.
As sure as you're sitting there, they're going to be defeated in the primaries.
So they did boo one of the Republican senators in Arizona. Came out on stage. A current sitting senator came out on stage, and they booed her off the stage in less than 2 minutes. They would not listen.
By real
It's on my Twitter feed at KevinlyFather on Twitter.
Republicans. And it's not so far off. You have secretaries of state certified.
Yeah, there are 23 people watching this on YouTube right now, J.A. I'll just call you good son. That's 23 people more in the chat room than Newsmax has.
Election results that were highly inaccurate and even fraudulent. They're certifying elections where the numbers are fraudulent. You have poll watchers, as I...
Well, 29 of those secretaries of states are Republicans. 27 of those governors are Republicans. All of the Republican governors and all of the Republican secretaries of state, they certified the election, sir. All of your people. That's how much they hate you. Because, I mean, the elections were fixed. They were rigged, right? You won. But that's how much your best buddies, like Ducey, Greg Abbott, DeSantis, they all hate you that much. Sorry.
They said who were illegally blocked from vote counting in Philadelphia, Detroit, and many, many other cities. In certain areas, there were more votes than there were voters. Think of that one. That
There was nowhere that there were more votes than voters. Not one place.
was so easy, you know? You say all these different things. A lot of people talk about the machines. I say, you know what?
Right, and in Pennsylvania, that would have been a good place to present that evidence to a judge. But when Giuliani went in front of the judge, he said this is not a case about fraud. We don't have any evidence of fraud. Sorry, that's your lawyer, who, by the way, can't practice law again in New York.
Too complex. You don't need them. It's so many different forms. They cheated in so many different ways. You don't have to get complex. You don't have to be a great scientist from MIT. They cheated in so many different ways.
He just throws in MIT, name drops MIT. You don't have to be a great scientist from MIT. You don't have to have a degree in drama from Carnegie Mellon. Who is the scientist from MIT to whom we're referring at this point? You know, I had an uncle, Fred Trump. He knew all about the nuclear.
People were caught on camera illegally running ballots multiple times through voting counting machines. And remember...
We talked about that. They were not.
I am not the one trying to undermine American democracy. I'm the one trying to save American democracy. I'm trying to save...
Well, American democracy decided that you're not the president. I do know liberty.
Our country is being destroyed by people who have no right to destroy it. people that won
Okay, for the record, no one has the right to destroy the country.
an election illegally. People that should not have been elected.
So he thinks that people who get to be president have the right to destroy the country? That explains so much.
They lost in a landslide.
And yet,
Joe Biden and the radical Democrats are wrecking our nation. I don't even believe it's him. I honestly don't believe. I don't think
he's good.
I don't think Joe knows where the hell he is. You want to know that? I don't think it's him. Crime is surging. Inflation is soaring. The border is gone.
Inflation is soaring.
We went from the strong.
Joe Biden is taking us all for a ride in his Surrey with the fringe on the top in states like Oklahoma.
Weakest border ever to the weakest border ever. The border is non-existent. Illegal aliens are pouring in record numbers. Critical
They aren't.
race theory is being forced into every facet of our society.
It is not.
Free speech is being crushed.
Here you are. Here you are, sir.
Men are being allowed to compete in women's sports. How do you like that?
Oh my God! Oh, the atrocities.
Think of that.
This is worse than Hitler.
How fair is it? Did you see the weightlifter? I hate to tell you this, women, but he shattered your long-standing record.
He did not.
This guy gets up.
I mean, is that an Olympic spoiler? In which case, I hate this man. Up until now, I've walked the fence with Trump. I can take him or leave him. Either way, it doesn't really, no skin off my back. But if he just spoiled the Olympics,
Boom, boom.
you're worse than Toyota. Boom, boom. Wait, we gotta go back and watch whatever that was.
Did you see
Is this lifting weights? Boom, boom.
the weightlifter?
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, women, but he shattered your long-standing record. This guy gets up. Boom, boom. Like a 9-year record. Sonny, a 9-year record. Boom.
Sonny. Boom, boom. That's how you lift weights at the Olympics. Boom, boom. It makes that sound. It's like windmills. Boom, boom, boom. And then you get cancer. It's very sad.
Did he do it with one hand? You know, it's so unfair. It's so unfair.
That's what she said.
It's so ridiculous. I'll be honest, though. Look, we all like to win. If I were a coach, I'll tell you, I wouldn't be talking to too many women as we know women. I'd be getting some of these people that they're women.
Remember, nobody has the backs of the LGBTQ community like I do.
Somebody said that if LeBron James ever decided to get the operation, how would he be? How would he be on the court? And by the way, LeBron James, you can have him.
Oh, thank you.
Did you see the basketball ratings, which were terrible, but they went up after his team was defeated? So, and that's
Yeah, because it continued on to the finals. So the finals got better ratings than the preliminaries. Yes. Guess when else that's happened? Always, sir.
happening. It's in sports, and people don't want to see it. They want to see
And if you can believe it, after Joe Montana was not in the Super Bowl got better ratings than the regular season.
the athletes. They want to see
People were having parties. They were making chili.
competition. But the last thing they want to see is men competing in women's sports, because
That is not the last thing I want to see. The last thing I want to see is you in the shower with a sheep. That's the absolute last thing. Men competing in women's sports? Okay.
very soon you're not going to
Like, I've watched Olympic weightlifting one time in my life. It's really boring. I'm sorry. It just... I haven't watched any of the... I did watch the opening ceremonies, and the drones were really cool. I would just like just the drone show Skip the rest of the ceremonies. Naomi ran up the Olympic flame. That was kind of cool. Okay. Oh, and when they made their little emojis. The people all like did the shapes. Very well done.
Have women competing anymore. I hate to say it, okay? I hate to say it. You're gonna have a coach have a full team, and
Yeah. Anybody trans competing in another sport, they're women.
that team is gonna win the national championship so easily. You're not gonna have women competing. They're taking away your rights. That's really a women's rights movement. You can't let that happen. And now they just allowed it to happen in the Olympics. The Olympics has gone bad too. Our infrastructure is being hacked.
Well, then you never should have saved the Olympics in Korea, sir. This is on you, buddy. The Olympics were about to be done.
By foreign.
Remember? They weren't selling any tickets. And then you said, hey, everybody buy tickets. In South Korea. You saved the Olympics, sir. The Olympics would have been dead and gone. So this is your fault, Donald Trump.
Countries left and right. Thousands of rockets are being fired at Israel. And Joe Biden is allowing America
No, we're done with that part now, sir. This speech is 4 months old.
to be pushed around and laughed at all over the world. This didn't happen when I was president. This didn't happen when I was president.
That is correct.
In addition to all of our work
You are not the president.
to hold Democrats accountable for their election fraud, which is massive, we must fight harder than ever before to win a colossal victory for America First Republicans next year. We have to, but again, you have to solve this problem. We're going to work our asses off, right?
Oh, our asses
We
off.
have to solve this problem.
What's with this weird Joe Biden whispering? We have to work our asses off.
Have to solve this problem. We must reclaim the House. We must reclaim the Senate. State legislatures all over. We did so well last election. And governors' mansions all across the nation. Last year, Republicans made massive gains. I got no credit from these people, none. I made 58 phone calls, 58.
He says massive gains and he points to his chest.
They're called teleconference calls. Everybody I made it to did so great. I was responsible for getting these people elected. In the House, we were expected to lose 25 to 35 seats. And instead of losing 25 to 35 seats, we lost for the first time in many decades 0 seats. And in fact, we shockingly gained 16 seats. 16 seats. And in the Senate, without my involvement, it would right now be 60-40 with the Democrats in the lead. Nobody likes to talk about that. We had such an incredible evening in the election. We did so well in the election. You know, they like to say, I'll tell you, you had a gentleman here, a legislator here, who said, thank you, and I love you too. He said, sir, I was prepared to lose my election. People that you know, I was prepared. I didn't know him. I spoke to him for the first time. He said, I was prepared to lose my election. 2 months before, I was prepared. Then I went to one of your rallies and I saw the level of enthusiasm with thousands of people unable to get in. 42,000 people, thousands unable to get in. I saw the enthusiasm, but I was very much prepared. I assumed I was going to lose. He's been there for a long time. And then he said, and then the night before the election, I walked outside with my wife, and there were all these Trump signs, Trump, all over the place. Elect Trump, Trump Pence. They had Trump Pence and Trump. But they had all of these signs, and they had the American flag, and everybody was going wild. I said, you know, darling, I think I'm going to win the election. And the next day, sir, I won the election, and I won my district by a lot. And you lost my district, and there was no way that I got more votes than you. You got far more votes than I did, sir. There's no way possible. And I said to my wife, this...
Katie, big donation right now from Katie. Thank you so much, Katie. You're awesome. Yeah, wow, guys, I'm overwhelmed. Big donation from Katie. If you'd like to donate, don't donate at that Google Meet meeting. If you'd like to be in the Google meeting and be above me right here and be able to comment with your voice, that's where you go. If you want to be a patron, like we have a new patron today, Deidre is a new patron today. go to KevinlyFather.com. If you want to donate on the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, they're all right there to help us do things like this. We're going to try and get more smooth with this. I'd love to be able to get like actual political guests commenting on this sort of thing. Have sort of a political roundtable. That would be great. We'll work on that. Maybe Hal Sparks. We'll work on that and see if we can make things work like that in the future. But thank you so much, Katie.
Election is rigged. This election is rigged.
Yoshi, what's up?
Oh my goodness. Okay, producer Joanna, she just answered my question. Wow. So so they didn't fix your monetization yet. What more has to happen?
What has to happen for what? I missed that.
For when you lost your monetization.
Yeah. So we'll talk about monetization another time. I want to get as much of the speech done, but I'm currently demonetized on YouTube, but I do have a chat function and Newsmax doesn't. But we'll talk about that later. Yoshi, thank you very much. If you'd like to monetize me, here are some ways to monetize me.
And what the fake news goes around saying is the reason we did so well in legislatures, the reason we did so well in Congress with not any loss but 20, all of these gains, I guess it was 16, all of these gains. And the Senate, we did very well, even though Mitch McConnell shouldn't have said we won't give 10 cents more than $600, and the other side said we'll give you 2,000. Like it or not, that's not good politics, okay? And frankly, they were going to get it anyway. It was a disastrous thing. He did ads where he was in the ad, and he's not a popular guy. So we should have won those seats. But if you just forget those 2 seats, we would have been 60-40. What we did, and what they try and do is say, well, the reason we won didn't we win every legislature in the country, right? The reason we won is because the legislators were far more popular than Trump. No, it's not that. That's why I tell you that rather long story, because we carried them in, but they didn't give me and the presidency, they didn't give us the votes. That's all it is. It's very simple. And they're liars, and they're scoundrels, and they're very bad and very dishonest, but that's just the way it is. Right here.
Go ahead, Marcy.
Is this Common Core math?
Yes, it is. This is, well, yeah.
In Arizona, we must fire one of the most extreme leftists in Congress, your radical Democrat Senator Mark Kelly. And it's not that he's leftist. It's that he doesn't care about the border. With all the time I spent...
Oh, it's not that he's leftist? The radical left congressperson that you just mentioned? Not that he's leftist. Okay.
Winning the legal stuff, I think we had 11 lawsuits. We won them all. And then I could start. It would have been so much easier. But I never heard from him. He never said, how can I help? He couldn't care less about your border. And your border in Arizona is one big... We did such a great job, but he did absolutely nothing. Kelly has done nothing to protect your state. And if you look at the Biden border crisis, and it is beyond a crisis, you know, they're saying, oh, don't use the word crisis. Well, now that's like a nice word. He's completely owned and controlled by Pelosi.
Okay, well, he did use the word crisis. So, okay.
And Schumer, and the open borders left. Now the socialist Democrats and communists are trying to include amnesty in their reconciliation bill, which would turbocharge the
Turbocharge? I want something that's turbocharged. How do I get my car to be turbocharged?
crisis. And neither Mark Kelly nor anybody on the Democratic side, they're all fake moderates, you know, they're fake. They don't say a word about it. You're having, if this change isn't made soon, Arizona will never be able to recover from what's happening. You're getting it worse than most because you're on the border, so big on the border. Taking back America begins with kicking Mark Kelly the hell out of the United States Senate.
Okay.
With us today are a few of the Republican candidates running to beat Mark Kelly next year. And maybe if you're around, stand up. Blake Masters. Where's Blake? Blake, thank you. Blake, thank you, Blake. Good, you're doing well. Jim Lehman. Jim?
Okay, more introductions. Let's skip the introductions. Let's just skip ahead a few minutes here.
And we will immediately shut down Joe Biden's border disaster. And we're going to end, by the way, catch
I don't know how you would do that. How do you just shut down the border?
and release. I ended catch and release. You know what it is? You catch a criminal.
And you release them?
And you take his name, or whoever. You take his name, her name, and you release them into our country. You release them. We did something slightly better. Stay in Mexico. We have stay in Mexico. And we will restore our southern border. We want to let them remain in Mexico. You know, the people, they're all over the United States, your border, but and you're getting hit hard, probably harder, much harder, but all over the country. You can go to Iowa, you can go to all over the country, they're being hit, and it's a crime wave. Big crime wave is coming out of it. Go all over the country and you'll see you're being hit. Right here in Arizona, Joe Biden has utterly demolished your border and cynically betrayed the people of the state because he never said he was going to do that. I told you he would. In May alone, Border Patrol encountered 540% more illegal migrants in the Tucson sector and 1,500% more in Yuma than the same period when I was there. Think of that.
Last year. Then the same period last year during COVID. Okay.
1,500% more in 1 year. Now, that doesn't mean as much as this. For every one you catch, I think 10 come in. Some people say it's 5 or 6. Let's say it's 10. You're talking about millions.
Again, doesn't know if it's true, but he's going to say it anyway.
The people are coming into our country. We expedited removals and deported criminal aliens by the thousands. We took out MS-13 gang members by the tens of thousands. We got them out. Thousands and thousands of these absolute killers. And we built nearly 500 miles of beautiful border wall, the same wall that they wanted. I went with them. I said, I don't want the anti-climb panel on top. You know the panel on top that you see? I said, I don't like it. I don't want it. They said, sir, it's
He's bragged about it being his idea before, the anti-climb panel. He's bragged about telling them to do it.
Anti-climb. I said, oh, in that case, I like it, right? And they got to paint the wall, by the way. It sounds not so nice in a speech. How can...
I don't care. We've already talked about Hunter Biden doing a paint job. So tell us about painting the wall, sir.
Churchill make a great speech and say you got to paint the wall, right? Pretty basic. Remember what I used to say? There are two things that will never get obsolete. Everything's obsolete. You have a new computer. 3 days later, you read it's obsolete. Two things. What are
Wheels
the
and
two
walls.
things? The wheel and the wall.
And ladders. And ropes.
We achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. Biden's...
Wow, he just breezed right by that. Usually he spends a good 5 minutes on talking about wheels and walls. But okay.
Open border policies have blown it all up in shreds so fast. And they've enriched the drug cartels, the child smugglers, the woman smugglers, and the vicious MS-13 gang members.
Those damn women.
They are making more money with human trafficking now and drugs, the sale of drugs. We had fentanyl down to the lowest it's been in 15 years.
Fentanyl. There's no such thing as fentanyl.
Because it's not just people. It's the drugs they come across. We had it to the lowest. This drug is a killer. A small amount can kill 1,000 people. A little amount can kill thousands of people. We had it to the lowest level it's been in 15 years, and it was going down, and now he blew the thing up. And I used to say it's incompetence, but they must really want this to happen. Why wouldn't they have finished the wall? It would have taken 2 months. What are they doing? What are they doing? This is not just a national security crisis. It's truly a humanitarian catastrophe. Last month alone, the remains of 43 people were tragically discovered along the Arizona border, just your border.
Yeah, which is what, but that's not accurate. But anyway, yeah, that's people are dying as they're making the arduous and dangerous journey from the Triangle states or from the Triangle countries, I should say, and or Mexico and or anywhere else. You don't make that journey, which is why they're saying, please don't come. Marcy, go ahead.
Fun fact, his wall has a maintenance door about every quarter mile, and most of those doors are unlocked.
Why are they unlocked?
They are.
Yeah, well, he wanted a big, beautiful wall and then big, beautiful doors as well. So as long as those maintenance doors are beautiful, I think he's happy.
Yeah, I had some cousins in Texas visit a portion of the wall, and they just opened the door, walked on through to the other side, laughed, took pictures, walked back through.
Good times.
Yep.
Nearly 100 migrant children were found stranded in the sweltering Arizona desert, having been cruelly enticed to the United States by Biden's rhetoric. He said, "Come in, everybody, come in." And they heard that, and they all started walking up. And I said, "You can't come in. You'll be stopped." And we have 28,000 Mexican soldiers that are there. I said to the president of Mexico, who I like a lot, and he actually likes me. He's from a different persuasion. He is a socialist, but he's a great gentleman. And I said, "Mr. President, you're going to have to stop them because we're building the wall and they're coming in." And I worked out a deal. I said, "I will not put tariffs on the thousands and thousands of cars you send over on a daily basis, but you have to..."
And avocados.
"Put 28,000 soldiers on our border, free of charge." And he said, "I will do that." And we had, now they're gone. And now they're all gone.
It's 22,000, and they were on the southern border of Mexico. They're not actually on our border stopping people from getting out of the United States.
And those soldiers knew what they were doing, I'll be honest with you.
They were very confused when they were placed on our border.
There was no games. There was no games. We did a great job doing.
I don't even know what that means. Soldier games? Is that like reindeer games?
During the construction of the wall. Once the wall is up, you didn't need them. But you have to finish the little empty areas of the wall. The flood of illegal immigrants is also placing a crushing burden on communities across the state and throughout the nation, depleting your already overcrowded schools and hospitals and public...
I tried to chat on RSBN, by the way. I was censored. They canceled me. The RSBN chat canceled me. You know, the cancel the cancellation people.
Services of critical resources, you know that. They're so crowded now because there's so many people. Many of them can't speak English. They can't. The whole thing is a catastrophe. Your kids are saying, "What the hell is going on?" Even before the Biden border crisis, Arizona taxpayers were spending a staggering $2.3 billion a year to pay for the welfare, education, justice system costs, and illegal immigration. $1,000 per Arizona household every year, and that's now going to be doubled and tripled. In our movement, we believe that your taxpayer dollars should go to support truly needing America. You have to take care of American citizens. And look, we all have a heart. I see the same thing as you do, and we want to help people. But when you say, come up, come to America, our country can't afford it.
Okay, but they're not saying that. They're saying, don't come. Literally, Kamala Harris is saying, don't come here. It's too dangerous. Come in legally. That's what they're saying. You're the one who's saying that the borders are open.
System is breaking down. We can't afford it. You just can't afford it. The whole world, this is in Mexico and Guatemala and Honduras and El Salvador. They're coming in from Yemen. They're coming in from all over the Middle East.
I just had a comment that I'm very loud and Trump is very soft. They've turned his volume down again on RSBN. That's not me.
They're coming in from Haiti. Large numbers are coming in from Haiti. They're coming in from all parts of Africa. They're coming in from Europe. They're coming in from all over the world. And our country's no country is set for that. Number one, you can't afford it. Number two, on a human basis and even on a common sense basis, it's going to destroy. They are destroying our country. They're destroying our country. Under my administration...
They are not. We are desperate for workers right now. Marcy.
Well, his mom and 2/3 of his wives were immigrants, 2 of whom barely spoke English. At least his mom was Scottish. Scottish.
Yeah, either one.
America was respected again and respected like never before.
Yeah, they are coming in through Mexico from Yemen. That has happened. There have been a very limited number of immigrants, but yeah, they get into Mexico because Mexico really doesn't protect its coastlines. They fly into Mexico and then they try and walk across the border. So they can get permission to get into Mexico, but not permission to get into the United States. Keep in mind that still 50% of illegal immigrants are in this country by flying into this country.
We withdrew from the United Nations
Corrupt. Is there an end to that sentence? Climate action? Did you just realize the United Nations didn't start the climate action? Is it the World Health Organization that you're about to say? What's going on here, buddy? From the children's fund that you withdrew from? The corrupt children's fund from the United Nations?
We withdrew from the United Nations corrupt Human Rights Council. So
Oh, the Human Rights Council. Okay, the corrupt Human Rights Council.
Israel and the United States. That's all they did is criticize us. But not only has Joe Biden re-entered the shameful and ridiculous international tribunal, but just this month, you saw this, the Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, sent them a pandering and very, very strange letter begging the United Nations to come and investigate America for its alleged systematic racism.
Boo!
So, yeah.
Boo! Racism.
Systemic racism.
Oh, I think they just cut the video. Yeah. RSBN just cut the feed to the video. So that's it. That's the broadcast. We're not going to see the end of it. What they've been doing in order to stop YouTube from censoring them, they broadcast it and then they get rid of the video immediately. But we learned good things today. We learned that we can do the Google Chat thing, Google Meet, and potentially have guest stars like Stephanie, Joanna, Marcy, at random, Yoshi. Thank you all very much for participating with this today. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Thanks to everybody who watched us the normal way. Thank you, Stephanie. There's Stephanie right there, gracing us with her beautiful face. So we'll do more of this. I think this worked out fine. With the purple hair. To summarize, Trump went on to lie. So we didn't really miss anything in the end of it. This is good because I have a 6 o'clock meeting somewhere, which I'm not going to make. But thanks to RSBN, A, for broadcasting, B, for cutting off the broadcast. That frees me up to go and do the thing that I got to do. So I will go do that. And I did say we were going to do movie night tonight on Zoom. It will be a Google Meet movie. What should I do? I guess I should start a new Google Meet. So let's aim for 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, go ahead, Yoshi. Go ahead.
I feel like you're about to answer my question. I was just going to ask how we get in on this shindig. Sounds like the cookie table.
On this shindig or the movie night?
The movie night.
Movie night. Are you part of the Twitter group that they have? You'd know what I'm talking about if you were. Do you follow me on Twitter?
Yeah, she's not in our Kevinly family DMs.
Okay,
so
do I follow you on Twitter, Yoshi?
I don't think you do.
Okay, hold on. Let's do that right now. Well, we're here. Let's go to the Twitters.
Wait, hey Kevin, are you broadcasting her stuff out over YouTube, which might not be cool?
Yeah, no, but I mean, Yoshi, is it okay that we broadcast your Twitter handle on the broadcast, or do you want to keep that? You know what? Just
private.
Shoot me a message on Twitter. No, not a message, a direct message. You can't if I don't follow you. Just put go to my page at KevinlyFather, and this applies to anybody who wants to join us for movie night. Go to at KevinlyFather on Twitter and just leave me a message there. So you should be able to just click on me, and then you should be able to just, as long as at KevinlyFather is in your tweet, I will see that mention, and then I can follow you, and then we can exchange DMs, and I can get you in on the movie night. Does that make sense, Yoshi?
Yep, I'm on your page right now.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
or Yoshi, you could just leave a comment under his post for this live stream. Just post there so the rest of us can find you and we can add you and whatnot.
There you go. They can all add you, and then you can be in their special group.
Yeah, we need to find her to add her. I was just trying to do that.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, you guys take care of that. I will go take care of my business. Yeah, so what RSBN does is they broadcast Trump, and then so that YouTube won't give them strikes for what Trump says, they take him down right away, just so they don't get suspended, because they got suspended a couple of weeks ago for lying about voter fraud, medical vaccines, whatever Trump was doing that particular time. They got dinged for it, and Trump is their cash cow. So they broadcast and then they stop. That's what I talked about happening earlier. So we'll see some of you for movie night later. Otherwise, I don't know if we're going to broadcast it all tomorrow, probably in the morning. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Maybe do some of the morning shows, maybe doing some Spilling Covfefe. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Thanks, Jessica. Bye, Kimchi. Bye, Shelly. Thank you very much to Katie for her big contribution. Thanks to Deirdre, if you're still on, for becoming a patron. If you'd like to become a patron, go to KevinlyFather.com. If you'd like to send me any money, you can do so here. That's it for the broadcast. We will see you guys around 7 o'clock for the movie. Yes, Stephanie.
Is Yo-Yo Yoshi on the
Yeah,
replay?
that's me.
That's
Okay,
you.
All right.
Oh, I just found you. I just found you too. I will follow you, Yoshi, and now you can DM me as well. So great to have you aboard. Looks like you got some great family or kids or something going on there. Say hi to each and every one of them individually for me.
Will do.
Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you soon for the movie. Stephanie, go ahead.
I just telling Yoshi I got her followed. So
okay, perfect. We will see you guys for the movie in about an hour. Otherwise, we'll see you soon. Probably see you tomorrow. If not, then maybe Monday. I'm going to try and do more broadcasting. My situation makes it difficult at this point in time, but we'll see as things go forward. Thanks, Shelly. You guys have a great night, and we will talk to you later.